Good afternoon. My name is Gregory Morgan and welcome to Love Talk. Once again, I'm here for answering your questions about relationships and what works with men and women in dating and sex and marriage. Relationships that foster and create communities of wisdom, integrity, and leave a legacy of love for our future generations. Why that, you might ask? Why would we want to create an organization founded on and dedicated to that? Well, you know, they say that sometimes they say that you have to teach what it is that you most need to learn yourself, and that's certainly been the case for me. That in learning how to have relationships, it wasn't something I learned in my family. It wasn't something that I inherited from my culture or my society, how to have long-lasting, profoundly satisfying, and fulfilling relationships. I didn't know how to have relationships that would last into my lifetime and be ongoing, and that would actually be about something other than my own momentary survival and my own momentary satisfaction, but never fulfillment. I was never truly fulfilled by the relationships that I had prior to practicing the principles that I'll be teaching you here today. The principles that our private coaching and therapy practice is founded on, and you'll find it at the root of all of our seminars, all of our workshops, any speaking engagements we do, and then of course my show Love Talk is all about that, and so is Doña Ayesh. It's all about founding relationships. What are the principles? What are the rules? What are the things that make a relationship work for a lifetime? So this show is all about creating relationships that are fulfilling, satisfying, and that are ongoingly empowering. And I want to talk to you about a principle that I call dynamic value. Dynamic means that it is ongoingly changing. Okay, so when you think of something that is dynamic, you think of something that's changing constantly. And when you think of value, you think of something as having an intrinsic value. But I ask you this: do the relationships that you find yourself in, your marriage relationships, your relationships with your parents and your children, they have an intrinsic value in your life. And that value very often is related to your happiness and fulfillment and your well-being as well. And it could be for your financial well-being and your health and everything, that those relationships impact you in your life. Do they have the same value today that they had 5 years ago or a year ago or 10 years ago, depending on the relationship? Or has that value diminished in time, or has it become static? You know, it's got a value, but it's not something that you get up in the morning being happy about. So I would call that diminishing value. Dynamic value means that it is ever increasing in value. It is ever growing in value. It is self-repairing. It is something that in and of itself has a value that is constantly becoming greater and easier to obtain. So I want to talk to you about dynamic value in relationships today, and I'll go ahead and take your calls.
I'm calling for my mom.
Okay.
Whatever she does, like daily activities, she cannot do it. She talks to herself a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever she's getting ready to do, she's there forever, talking to herself.
Like literally talking out loud to herself?
Well, she usually says stuff to my father, and whatever she pick up, for example, if she pick up glass, she will say, oh, this is glass, and then she keep looking on the floor, and she say, oh, I don't know what happened to me. This is glass. I don't know what happened to me, and she's there forever.
So it sounds like your mom might be just a little disassociated from reality. If she's doing that over and over and getting caught up in it, then I hardly see the value in saying this is glass as you're picking up glass, unless she just needs to remind herself what she's doing. How is this showing up in your relationship with her?
Well, like, even with me, like when she does that, like, for example, even if she's doing something and I tell her, okay, you cannot do it, let me do it, then she won't even move. She's just there forever.
Okay. So how old's your mom?
She is now 66. And when she takes shower, she don't take shower in morning. She takes shower at nighttime, and she's there the whole night. And the water is running and stuff like that, and she's talking to herself.
Okay, well, your mom needs some help, okay? Your mother needs professional help. So you got to ask her, is she willing to go see a therapist? Because she needs to get some help.
She doesn't. When I said to her, I think this is sign of depression, and I tell her I will make a doctor appointment.
Well, don't play analyst with your mom, okay? People watch shows like mine and my wife's and the other doctors that are on the television, and they hear a lot of terms that are clinical and terms like depression. Depression is actually a clinical term when used in that way, right? When applied to a human being, it's a clinical term, and it has pages of definition of what that means. And there's pages and pages, if you read in psychology books, of interpretations and understanding for analyzing if that's actually the case with a person. And there's lots of variations of what that could mean. So I'm saying all that to you because she may be depressed. So many people watch these shows and then they start applying clinical terms to and sort of analyzing the other people in their lives. She may be depressed, and she may have a chemical imbalance, or she may have any number of other things, okay? She may have been traumatized. So do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. And you are not qualified to analyze that, and I certainly couldn't analyze it based on a conversation with somebody talking about her. You would need to talk to the person themselves. And so she needs to see a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist. She's actually got something going on, and I'm not saying that it's irreparable or any of that kind of stuff, but she's not connected to reality like you and I are connected to reality, right?
Mm-hmm. Can you recommend me someone? I'm not local. I'm calling from Virginia.
You can call our offices. I don't give out recommendations over the air. And
let me ask you this: if I call your office, be able to help me over the phone case like this?
Well, I'd be able. Not you. I could help you in dealing with your mother, but I wouldn't be able to help your mother talking to you.
But the problem is she doesn't speak English.
Well, then my wife speaks Farsi. She would certainly be able to help her.
She's not Farsi either. She doesn't speak.
What does she speak?
We are from India.
You're from India. So she speaks...
She's Punjabi.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so that's a whole nother ballgame. She needs to speak with somebody that speaks her language, that is a trained therapist, okay? And you speaking to them will make no difference, zero. It might help you, but it's not going to help her.
I was trying to find a psychiatrist who speaks same language, and I only found one who takes that insurance, but then he said he doesn't take it. I couldn't find anybody who speaks that language.
I'll just be straight with you. You can call my office, but I won't be able... I personally don't know anyone that speaks that language either.
Let me ask you this, but as far as me concerned, how can I deal with it? Because sometimes I don't want to say anything to her, but I get frustrated and then I scream and I just...
Well, you're going to need some help just dealing with yourself in relationship to her.
Because
I mean, if your mom's living in your house and behaving in bizarre fashion, that's got to have a psychological effect on you too, naturally. I understand.
How can I deal with her, I guess?
It's more than we can go into in a brief conversation on the phone, okay? But you need to be able to establish your own boundaries in your own life, which is already hard enough between parents and children. If the parents are living in your house and are completely dependent upon you because of a language thing, it's even more difficult to create a healthy boundary that would allow you to have your own sense of space and well-being, and her to have whatever is going on with her go on with her. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. You know, it's very difficult already with parents and children if your parents are feeling bad or they're having problems, it's already kind of difficult to feel well and be happy within yourself in that circumstance. I totally understand that. So I'm not speaking from a lack of compassion, but I am speaking about in order for you to be healthy and be useful to your husband, your children, or the other people in your life, your work and everything like that, you need to have healthy boundaries and be able to say, that's her problem, not mine. There's a place at which you have to pull yourself back and be able to hold on to yourself, even though somebody that you love and care about is suffering. You have to still be able to have your own sense of well-being. If somebody's going, drowning in a well and you just jump down in there with them, it's not going to help either one of you, right?
Yes.
You have to stay on solid ground and be able to help them up out of there, and you can't help them until you yourself are well. Do you understand?
Because, every time I say I'm not going to say anything to her, but then it just gets to the point where I just scream and stuff like that. And
yeah, of course.
Mad.
Yeah. It's because you don't have your own boundaries well established, and so I can help you with that.
Okay.
I can help you with that. And, again, you can call our office and set up an appointment with me. We do those by phone, and I can help you with that, and so can my wife if you want to work with her if you feel more comfortable. But
okay. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello, this is Gregory, and you're live on the air.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to Love Talk.
Thank you so much. Very quick, I try to say that, and I'm sorry if my English is not perfect.
Your English is great. Your English is great.
Thanks. I have been married for like 15 years, and it works, and I'm happy. He's a very nice guy, but sometimes, not sometimes. I actually most often when I don't know, when I watch a movie for a while, I put myself in one of those characters, and I see myself with someone else in my dream. I all the time think something happened and my future is going to be changed, and it's not the same person. I feel there's a couple issue with these things, because first of all I feel guilty about that because he's a very nice guy, and
you feel guilty about your fantasizing?
Yes.
Okay, I got it. So you feel guilty about, you have fantasies about being with other men?
Right.
And then you feel guilty about that?
Yes. I wanted to know first of all, is it normal, or is completely something's wrong with me, or...
Let me tell you something. You called the right place, because on my show, one of the things that I really have a commitment to is telling the truth as best as I can, okay? So what I know about human beings is they all have fantasies.
Well, thank you.
I'm
glad that
and the ones that say they don't...
I usually watch your wife, and she's very nice, and I always enjoy that. I didn't know that you have also a show. It's the first time that I see you.
Right.
Anyway, I enjoying, and I learn a lot. And tell me, how could I help myself to get rid of this type of thing? And
well, don't try to get rid of it. First of all, anything that one of the laws in the universe, and it's also a law in thermodynamics, which is just the study of energy, engineering and energy, okay? One of the laws is anything that you resist persists. So if you want to make sure that something sticks around, resist it. This is true with pain. Pain, you don't get through life without having pain. Resistance causes suffering. It's the prolongation of pain. Same thing with fantasies. Like, okay, I'm going to do an experiment with you right now. It's a famous experiment. It's Einstein's experiment, okay?
Okay.
Do not think of the color red. Don't think of red. Don't think of red some more. Now, really, don't think of red. Got it?
Yeah.
The experiment speaks for itself. You cannot think of, this is going to be kind of complicated English, so I'll say it really slow. You cannot not think of something without thinking of it.
Right.
Right? You can't think about what you don't want to think about without thinking about it. Complicated, I understand. But just the thought of wanting to resist something keeps you thinking about it. Do you understand?
Yes, it makes
So
sense.
don't resist it. Don't resist it. If you have fantasies, have the fantasies. Okay? Now, feeling guilty about the fantasies, that's another way of keeping the fantasies around. It's another form of resistance. So my proposition to you is enjoy your fantasies, share them or don't share them, keep them to yourself if you want to, share them with somebody if you want to, and don't make yourself guilty for having them, okay?
Okay.
All right, now, one of the things that human beings have the ability to do, and we just demonstrated that with the don't think of red thing, right? Because everybody that was watching this show started thinking about red, whether there was red there or not.
Right.
So as human beings, one of the things that we have the ability to do is to think about things that aren't real, right? They're not real. If I talk about the elephant that I saw as I was walking in the front door of the studio a while ago, everybody that's watching this show just saw an elephant. Do you understand?
Yes.
No real elephant, but everybody saw one in their mind. So we can think about things without, that aren't even real. So you see a movie. You see a movie and there's a handsome guy and he's kissing some girl and they're in love, okay? And you go, oh, that's so great, right? Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, with thinking that and feeling that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think anybody would. Now, you go on and fantasize about it and pretend that it's you in the scene and all that. As far as I'm concerned, that's an overactive creative aspect in your mind. It's a little overactive, okay?
Yeah,
Nothing
maybe.
wrong with that. It's just, but if it takes you away from your husband, if it takes you out of your relationship, then I'm going to ask you this. What is it that's missing in your relationship with your husband that if it was there, you might not be off fantasizing? See, I have fantasies too, but my life, my real life that I can touch and taste and feel and smell, my real life with my real wife is so fulfilling that I don't have time to fantasize. I'm happy being with her. You know what I mean? It's like, what's there to fantasize about? My dreams are already fulfilled. Now that happens to be my case, and I make sure that it's there. I take responsibility for making sure that my wife is happy and loved and fulfilled and that she sticks around and that she knows that I'm going to be there for always and that I'm interesting to her and that she's really interesting to me. And so I take responsibility for having that in my life. It's not an accident. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
I didn't just sort of accidentally wake up and find myself married to Dr. Azita Sion. Do you know what I mean? I have to work at it, right? Right?
Yes.
And, you know, she does too, right? So I would say rather than worry about the fantasies that you're having and making yourself feel guilty about it and trying to stop having them, why don't you focus that same creative energy on making your husband the most alive, turned on, happy guy in the world and demand that you have that in your life, you know, that he pay attention to you and that he makes you feel, that he helps you feel. He can't make you feel anything, but that he helps you to feel loved and cherished and adored and sexy and all that stuff that you're having to go to the movies to get. And then still go to the movies together.
I appreciate and understand what is your point, and it makes sense. But just it's part of our culture, you know, as long as a man, you know, be nice and bring, I don't know, money at home, you know, and take care of the kids, I think I should be thankful from the God for having him, you know. And if I want to do more, you know, if I want to change him, or if I don't know. It's
well, see, I'm hearing
cultural
something completely
thing.
different now. What I'm hearing now is that you have a conversation with yourself about scarcity, and that you've probably inherited from your culture, probably your mother and your grandmother and everybody. As long as he's paying the bills and bringing home the paychecks and, you know, taking care of you and the kids and everything, you should just be so happy that you've just got one. I got one. I got a husband. You know, that is so poverty stricken. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm saying it in the most loving way I can, that is coming from a place of, I'm so nothing and unworthy and all like that if they'll just feed me and come home, I'll be happy. I should be happy and thank God. And you know what? That's not enough. It's not enough. You deserve to be loved and cherished and valued and ravished, you know? You deserve to have a man that just wants to make love to you and just completely put you in ecstasy. Why not? Why would some other woman deserve that and not you?
I mean, is this something that is it a learnable something, or it should be on
well,
someone?
yes.
I mean,
yes, it is learnable, and it begins with deprogramming, if you will, sort of getting rid of some old programming that you've inherited. You've inherited it by seeing it in your family. You've inherited it by hearing it. Okay, so through our eyes and through our ears, we see people acting that way. We hear people acting that way. And then we have very specific incidences in our life, or experiences that sort of weld it, like solder it into the circuitry of our life, so that we now believe that that's the way it is. And we don't even question that belief anymore. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. That's how people that's how entire races and civilizations become diminished. People and things tend to devolve. You have evolution and entropy. Okay, I'm going to introduce another word here called entropy. All right, entropy is a law in the universe, and it is that law by which organized systems tend to disorganize and fall apart. Okay?
Okay.
Take anything, a piece of wood, stick it in the ground, and just leave it there for 15 years, and it'll rot and fall away, right?
Right.
Just about anything that you have will fall apart all by itself. The paint on your car is oxidizing and turning into vapor right now as it's sitting out in the sun. Everything is falling apart all the time. That's the nature of things, all right? It's the nature of the physical universe, and relationships and people's ability to have profound relationships tend to fall apart as well, become unorganized and diminish to their lowest common denominator, which is survival. It means he keeps me alive. He brings me food. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just kind of like, do you know what I'm saying?
No, I understand. I
yeah.
know it.
The lowest possible level of relationship would be, I see somebody hungry and I share my food with them. That would be a kind of act of benevolence and love that doesn't necessarily, that happens even in the animal world, doesn't it?
Right.
From parents to children, but then once it's peer-to-peer, one animal to another animal, it's all like, get your own, right?
Yes.
So as human beings, we have the ability to have compassion and benevolence and share our food and like that with other people. That's kind of like the lowest possible denominator, is I'm going to keep this woman and child alive, right?
Yes.
Now, on the other end of that scale is I'm going to make them the most important thing in my life, and I'm going to make sure that every day they understand that I love and adore them, and that all, you know, that they have more than enough love and energy and compassion from me to feel good all the time. And if you're not getting that from your husband and out of your relationship, and if he's, then I promise you he's not getting that from you either.
Yeah.
Right? Because so as a sort of way of dealing with that, you kind of going off in a fantasy world and fantasizing and all this, and then you feel guilty about it and like that, and then you say, oh, well, he's so good to me. He comes home every night and he pays the bills. But what a sad and poverty-stricken existence compared to what's possible. Do you understand? For some people, what you got would be the kingdom arrived at. Yes?
Yes.
So there's some people that don't even have what you have.
Yeah, that's exactly
right?
When I compare myself to so many people. So I'm so lucky, you know.
Well, I think I got it. You're comparing yourself to the wrong people, as far as I'm concerned. Because only thing that you can get from comparing yourself to people who have so much less than you is maybe feeling guilty that you have as much as you got, right? I think you should be if you're going to compare, and people do anyhow, I don't think you should, but if you're going to compare yourself to somebody that has everything you want and more. I'd rather compare myself to Donald Trump than to the homeless guy on the street. Do you understand?
No, and
compared to Donald Trump, I'm like the homeless guy on the street in terms of my wealth. If we were talking about wealth, okay? If we were talking about financial wealth, compared to a billionaire, I'm poor. Compared to the guy on the street, I'm rich. Do you understand?
Okay, then what's the standard? What is the measure? What's the? I don't know. Then what should I do?
First of all, start loving yourself and appreciating yourself. And the way you do that is like you make yourself extra pretty, extra sexy, you take especially good care of yourself. You take especially good care of your home, and you sit down and you have a talk with your husband about how you want to take your relationship to the next level, that you would like to have more love and compassion and sensuality in your life, and what does he need from you in order for him to be able to have that, and then you tell him what you need to have from him. And I understand that that might be completely foreign to you. I understand that if you came to me as an architect, if I used to be an architect, and if you came to me and you said, I would like to have a really nice house, I'd go, okay. Then I'd ask you about 100 questions about your life and what you need and what you do and what you don't want to do and what you don't like and all that stuff, right?
Right.
And by the time you finished answering those questions, I'd have a pretty clear picture of the kind of house you want. I want an ocean view, and I like the kitchen to be like that, and so forth. So, right? I want the kids to be upstairs and we downstairs, or vice versa, or whatever it is. We have 5 cars, or we have 2 cars, and we want to have a place for our family to come. So you would tell me these things, and by that, I would be like getting an idea of what kind of a home that you want. Well, in the same way, as a relationship consultant, that's what I do with couples. What is it that you would like to have in your life? Like if your dream world was true and you were living your dream, what would it look like? And so we began to draw up images, and those images are very real, just like the elephant I mentioned earlier, or the red, right? They're very real because as you talk about them, they become real in your mind and you begin to see them. And as we write them down on paper and you begin to talk about them and negotiate them, that starts to become real for you. And if you do this with your husband or wife, whoever's watching, you do this with the people in your lives. Begin to design a relationship and then live into it. Will it ever look exactly like you thought? My answer to you is no. You know, just like if you were an architect, you went to an architect, he designed you a home. It wouldn't be exactly what you imagined. You understand? It never is. The physical world never matches up exactly to our fantasy, but would it be what you declared? Yes. Azita and I sat in a restaurant for 6 hours and designed our life before we decided to get married. We said, if we got married, these are the things that I want, these are the things I don't want, these are the things that are non-negotiable. If you ever have that or don't have that, I'm out of here. These are like the things that I'd be willing to, work with you and compromise about, and these are the things that I will not compromise about. And we design these things in our life, and we are living the life that we designed and even more. I mean, it's gotten way more than I ever imagined. We just celebrated our 8th wedding anniversary on the 21st of August.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And it's way beyond what we designed 8 years ago already. So every year, actually, we go at New Year's and we actually redesign. We say, okay, we said we were going to accomplish these things this year. We did this and we didn't do that. Here's some things that happened in our lives or in our relationship we didn't even expect. It's kind of like bonus stuff, right? And here's some things that we said we would do, but we didn't do that, right? And so we redesign our relationship and we recommit to the things, not just the things like houses and cars and offices and things. I'm not talking about physical things. I'm talking about states of being, state of mind, levels of evolution that we want to attain together as well, Mm-hmm. And we design that, and then we go about doing it together. And it's great. It's great fun. And it brings us together as people, as human beings, because we really have our own personal interest involved. See, I'm not just going around trying to make Azita happy. That wouldn't necessarily be fulfilling for me as a human being. Yeah?
Yeah.
But I see my own personal self-interest in making her happy.
See the real person does this, because I always thought those are just comes from the movies. I'm so glad that I can see the real people live like this.
Well, of course you can. And listen, they don't live like this in the movies. If you notice, they always sail off into the sunset or some darn thing like that, right? You never really get to see what it's like when it's time to wash the dishes and make the bed and feed the kids and all that stuff. All those people that fall in love in movies, right? Then they cut the movie off and we imagine that they just keep living like that, right?
Right.
That's romance. It's not a lifelong relationship.
Yeah.
Lifelong relationships come with, you know, changing diapers and, you know, getting the car fixed and things like that, right?
Right.
Who's going to buy the groceries?
I really appreciate. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
I will do that, and I hope I will not be disappointed.
Well, do that, and if you want some help and coaching with it, go ahead and get in touch with us at our office. We do that with couples all the time, and it really works. We see people take off and have a whole new life.
Sure, I will do that.
All right? Thank you. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
A man of character, responsibility, and resourcefulness. Become that man and join us on the journey towards manhood, finding a better person within. Embrace Growth is offering the Honor, Integrity, and Mastery Workshop in Toronto, Yerevan, and Los Angeles. Sign up today at embracegrowth.com and see the transformation in your life.
در کارگاه‌های آموزشی بانوان به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان با دستیابی به اهمیت و ارزش واقعی خود، قدرت زنانگی و آرامش خود را بازیابید. محیطی مناسب و هیجان انگیز برای رشد و شکوفایی عشق، ازدواج و خانواده خلق کنید. زنی شاد باشید، قلب مردان را بشناسید و آنها را درک کنید. کارگاه آموزشی بانوان، اروپا، 20 تا 22 آپریل. برای ثبت نام با تخفیف ویژه پاییزی با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید.
Hello, this is Gregory, and you're live on the air.
Hi, this is Mariam.
Hi, Mariam.
I want to talk to you if you have a few minutes.
Okay.
I want some advice from you. I don't know how to describe exactly, but
Well,
I'm in a lot of pain right now.
what are you dealing with?
And I don't want my children, they heard about it, and I think my husband, he crushed on some woman somehow.
Okay.
Yes. Then I wanna get some help from you.
Okay, I got that. And you think that your husband is seeing another woman?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have some evidence for that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So probably you're pretty sure.
Positive.
Huh?
Positive.
You're positive. Okay, well then that's different.
Yes.
Okay, great. So you're positive that your husband is seeing another woman. And have you
Absolutely.
asked him about it?
He was.
He was in the past?
Yes.
How do you know he's not right now?
I'm not sure. That's why I want to talk to you about it.
Okay, great.
It's going on like a month ago. Like a month, less than a month, you know.
A month ago he was seeing another woman, and
Yes.
now he may or may not be.
He said I'm done the business, but I trust him, but I see his eyes. I saw
Wait a minute,
something
you
different.
trust him? Wait. You trust him?
I was, yes, but something he...
You trusted him in the past,
Yes,
and you trust him now?
I want to say that.
You want to say that you trust him.
Yes.
Is he trustworthy? Is he worthy of your trust?
No.
Has he broken your trust?
Yes.
That would be a
no.
yes.
I think I'm misunderstood.
Well, did he have an agreement to not go with other women while he's married to you?
Oh, it's a long story.
Wait,
you know,
this is
I
not
don't
a, this
know
is
if
not a,
we're
this
supposed
is
to
not
talk about all
a,
the-
I know, but just listen to the questions, because the questions I'm asking you are all yes or no questions.
Can you
So-
say it again, please? I didn't get
That's
it.
okay. I know you're nervous, okay? I don't mean to...
That's why. It's
Yeah,
it's
you're nervous.
Like
Listen to me, okay?
He telling me about 5 days ago. That's why.
I got it. So this is really a big upset for you. It sounds like.
Yes.
Yeah. So your husband and you had an agreement that he would not go sleep with other women while he was married to you. Is that true or not?
It is true. He
Yes
was,
or no?
You know, we married like for 25 years ago.
Okay. So that's usually what marriage means. In most societies, I realize that in the Persian culture, there is a history of men having multiple wives, and that it is a polygamous culture, at least in the past and currently in the present as well, at least in Iran. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, but you're not in Iran, right?
No.
And did you and your husband have an agreement that he would only have sex with you?
Yes.
Okay. And so did he keep that agreement?
Yes.
Oh, he did?
Yes. No, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I misunderstand. He told me, be honest, nothing happened. I didn't found by myself. He told me by himself, and he said nothing happened. I said, did you have like a sex something with that? He said no. Then I believe that is not. But
Okay, well, that may or may not be true. Okay, and you know,
yeah, that's
Fine.
why when you're help, and I said, did you kiss her or something like that? He said yes.
okay.
And
Well, even kissing is a sort of more or less innocent exchange of sexual energy.
yes.
If it wasn't an exchange of sexual energy, you wouldn't mind. If he shook her hand, you wouldn't mind, right?
Yes. Right.
It's a little different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much more intimate, and obviously leads to sexual excitement and sexual feelings and an exchange of sexual energy, whether or not that's consummated by
Yeah.
actually sleeping together or whatever. It's an exchange of sexual energy, and that is where you're concerned about the violation that's taken place. I got it. So how now? This happens a lot. Yeah, I mean, this happens in marriages all the time.
But it wasn't in our life. It
Yeah, for
wasn't in my
25
life.
years that hasn't been there, and now it is.
Yes, it is.
So now you have to deal with it, right?
Yes, but I don't know how.
So, well, how do you feel about it? What do you want to do about it?
Right now, I don't know.
I got it. You have a lot of pain about it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And would you like to restore your relationship to how it was previously? Would you like to get rid of that relationship and start a new one?
Not at all.
Would you? Okay. So,
Even if I'm even I'm out of this relationship, I don't want to have a relationship with anybody.
I got it. I got it.
I love him so much
I got it.
in my life.
Yes, I understand. And his actions make your loving him so much almost feel foolish.
Yes.
Like you feel like I'm such a fool for loving somebody who would do this, right? That would be there.
I don't know what I could call, but because he feel bad about himself more than me. The way I worry about myself in more than I worry about him. I was thinking maybe he do something with himself because it's just like he saw a bar, a woman. He was out of the home for like 3 days, 3
Yeah.
nights. He saw a woman on a bar.
He saw what?
A woman
Yeah.
in a bar.
He saw a woman in a bar. Yeah.
Yes. And he drink all the time. He never became a drunk. You know, those. I feel the way they did something to him. Then he did. He didn't tell me when he came home. Like 3 days, and he stayed a week. He just gets skinny, and not in a good mood, like a losing weight, something.
So there's something going on with your husband. It may be something to do with his career or his finances or his health or something, okay?
Yeah, I think so.
But-
I think because he was have a baggy again. He have a tough time with the company.
Yeah.
I think kind of stress something because.
So look, you're going to need some help to get through this particular thing. It doesn't take a long time.
Yes.
It can take a long time. It depends on you and on him.
Yes.
But this is something that can get resolved, and it's something that if you choose to do it correctly, you can complete this and have this be in your past. Will the pain be there whenever you think of it? The answer is probably yes, okay?
I
But
hope
you
not.
don't have to let that pain, you do not have to let the pain run your life.
I understand that.
Right now, the pain is kind of stronger than you are.
For now, yes.
Well, it's kind of, it's interrupted the flow of your energy, yes? Your energy was going along and then something happened and there's like a block. And so it's extremely uncomfortable and painful. And it colors your outlook about the future, yes?
Yes.
Getting something complete in a therapy session, either with myself or my wife or another therapist that you know or would like to work with, it's fine with me. The work that we do, you may have heard me mention one of my wife's CDs and a book called Unfinished Business. It's about completing the past.
Yes.
Now, even though it's very recent,
Yes.
it's still the past.
Yeah.
Okay?
My main problem for now with all those kind of pain, we have 6 children. I don't want them, they know about it, you know. I don't want them to find out about it.
Well, the first thing you did was get on here and tell us your first and last name, so you might not want to do that. You know? I hope nobody else heard it.
No, I didn't say my name or my last name.
Oh, well then what was that? Never mind. I thought that you got on and said your name.
I just shaking. I just say something. I was thinking, you know, I didn't
Anyhow.
say anything.
What I'd like you to do is he willing to see a therapist about it?
Yes, I do.
I know you are, but is he?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I really recommend that you call. You can call our office, or if you have a therapist or a relationship coach that you've worked with in the past, or that you would like to work with, then you can work with them.
Oh.
But this is not something that people resolve by themselves usually. You need an outside person.
I don't think so because
Yeah, you need an outside person that has that can help you to reconcile and come together on this. Right now, there's like a tear or a break in the trust, which is the underlying fabric. It's the foundation of your home. It's the foundation of your relationship, which is, you know, your children and your families and your society and the community that you live in. All of those things are undermined right now. Okay.
Yeah.
While it's not that unusual, I mean, in other words, it happens. It's
Yes.
not like it's frequent, but it does happen that men, after 25 years of marriage and having a bunch of kids and stuff,
Yeah,
and maybe having some kind of financial loss or career change or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes they get off track and they try something that they really regret, okay?
Yeah.
And then some guys have been doing it for years and they don't regret it at all. They just get caught,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
So
No,
it
I
doesn't
didn't.
sound like that's your person.
Yeah.
It sounds more like the other thing.
Yeah, he told me that, but the first time, you know, he say my name. He said I'm sick, and then he said I'm sick, and I said that's okay. You know, you don't have to be so worried about it because we live in a great country. There is a lot of nice, good doctors. You know, nice people.
Yeah.
They can help us.
So
And
will
he
you
said,
do this?
I said, what happened? He said I have a cancer.
You're telling me that now after I've talked to you for 15 minutes that your husband has cancer?
Yes.
And you just found this out?
No, he's just making up. No, he's making up. No.
Oh, he made it up.
He made it up. No, I'm telling that. No.
Oh.
Then he doesn't come home. It wasn't during the morning. Then I was so upset. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep in the night. 6 o'clock, I called him. What time do you gonna come home? He said when I'm done. Then the day, nothing this day. Then 2 days after, and he came home at like 6 o'clock. Then I told him, where you sleep, where you are. He said, I was in a hotel. Then I said, there is anything I can help you with? He said, no, I don't want to see anybody, and I don't want to talk to anybody. It was about 6:30, we leave the house. We go to somewhere, talk to about it, about like...
You need to sit down with your husband and a therapist or coach to talk through all of this. This didn't just happen by itself all of a sudden for no reason. Men don't go looking for outside their relationship for no reason. And they don't get cancer for no reason either. Does he have cancer or not cancer? I really don't understand this.
He make it up. That's why
he made up that he had cancer. Well, that in itself is a little weird.
Yeah.
To put people in your life through that.
Yeah, because, you know, just like I told you, I couldn't sleep for, 2 nights, couldn't eat, do anything.
Yeah.
But the main reason I tell you the story, he doesn't tell me the truth in the first time, but then later, in the beginning, he doesn't tell the truth. Yeah, okay.
All right. Hello, this is Gregory, and you are live on the air on Love Talk.
Hello, Mr. Gregory. I have a question about the gentleman. Are you even they're proud that the man cheat on their wife after 25 years? Don't you think this is a sickness that they have from their childhood, or they're getting to their father or the family? I don't know. You think this is good? If the woman cheat in their husband, what's going to happen then?
It does happen, doesn't it? Is that true or not, that it happens?
It is true.
Now, does it happen? What are the statistics? Who the heck knows? You know what I mean? Even if I gave you statistics that I read out of a book, it would be a lie, because nobody really knows. Nobody could possibly know that statistic.
You're right.
Right?
Yes.
Because what comes with that is that people lie about it. So, of course, nobody really knows the statistics on how many men have cheated on their wives, or let's say their girlfriends or their fiancés or whatever, right? But I can tell you this from my own experience, okay? Yeah. I was once at a men's seminar, weekend retreat, okay, in which the question was asked, and there were 300 men there. How many men in this room have ever cheated on a relationship of any kind, a wife, a girlfriend, or something? And virtually every man stood up.
Oh my God. They are proud, maybe.
No, they weren't proud. Believe me, the atmosphere in there was not one of like, let's show off or be proud. It was one in which we were coming to terms with and being honest with that as men, we had not lived honorable lives. So it was about living an honorable life and coming to terms with and telling the truth about things that you'd lied about all your life. Okay? So it was an opportunity to come clean in the company of other men, at least, about something that maybe a lie that you had maybe painfully carried around in your life and felt bad about. It was an opportunity to do that. So I just want to give you that context. It wasn't like, yep, I did it, right? No. These were not men that were proud of having done it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
These were, but every man, reluctantly or not, stood up. So I think what's more important in this, okay, since we're on this subject, is not how many do it or why they do it, okay? I think what's most important is the cost of it. When a man does that, it costs him his honor with himself.
Exactly right.
It cost him his own self-respect. The cost is enormous. You know, it's one thing to feel guilty about it, something. It's another thing to know that you've lied to and hurt the people you love the most. It's one thing to know that you gave in to something that was not your higher self, but your lower self, and that it cost you the thing that you valued most, that it was the most precious. It's like giving your gold for copper. It's like giving your fortune for a moment of guilty pleasure.
You're right.
You know, and
yes.
you know that marks a man. It marks a man inside. And they may try to act like they're proud of it. They may try to have some bravado about it in order to try to attempt to, in a very phony and superficial way, to pull themselves up and try to have a little bit of self-respect about it. But the truth about it is, and I've been with men, when they got down to the truth about it, they feel like hell about it. You know, they feel terrible about it, and they've lost respect for themselves, and they have a hard time holding their head up around it.
Yes.
That's my experience.
Yes.
Okay?
So
that it happens and that it's common. I was in a room with 300 men. 100% of them stood up and said they had done that at some point in their life.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for your call. I really appreciate your calls, and I realize that this is a hot subject. And I promise to do more shows about that. I want to ask you to please go to our website, embracegrowth.com, sign up for our newsletter, which is, there's an opportunity there to sign up for our newsletter. You'll find out about our show times, about our seminars and workshops, how to do private sessions with myself and my wife, Dr. Azita Sayan. Once again, my name is Gregory Morgan. You're watching Love Talk, and I will see you again next week. Thank you.
Welcome to the Embrace Growth app. There's a new way to communicate and join in. Create your free account online and sign into the app. Manage your profile on the go and choose between English or Farsi. Register for events and schedule appointments more easily than ever. Stream audio, video, and download books all over Wi-Fi or cellular. Sign up for workshops and seminars right on your phone and access your audio and video library in the palm of your hand. Take your favorite lessons from Dr. Azita Sayan and Mr. Gregory Morgan with you. Download it today on the App Store.
برنامه دنیای عشق با دکتر آزیتا سایان، برنامه‌ای که تمامی سوالهای شما را جواب می‌دهد. ازدواج، عشق، سکس، همجنسگرایی، فرزندان، والدین، خیانت. از یوتیوب لایو استریم، فیسبوک و اینستاگرام لایو. سه‌شنبه ها و پنجشنبه ها 10 شب به وقت ایران و 10:30 صبح به وقت لس آنجلس. تلفن تماس با استودیو 818 532 6655.
Embrace Growth has a new home online where you can easily register for workshops and events, order from the online store, and be part of the worldwide community of Embrace Growth graduates. You'll be able to see Dr. Azita Sayan and Mr. Gregory Morgan in your favorite seminars. Visit us today at embracegrowth.com. A man of character, responsibility, and resourcefulness. Become that man and join us on the journey towards manhood. Finding a better person within. Embrace Growth is offering the Honor, Integrity, and Mastery Workshop in Toronto, Yerevan, and Los Angeles. Sign up today at embracegrowth.com and see the transformation in your life.
در کارگاه‌های آموزشی بانوان به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان با دستیابی به اهمیت و ارزش واقعی خود، قدرت زنانگی و آرامش خود را بازیابید. محیطی مناسب و هیجان انگیز برای رشد و شکوفایی عشق، ازدواج و خانواده خلق کنید. زنی شاد باشید، قلب مردان را بشناسید و آنها را درک کنید. کارگاه آموزشی بانوان، اروپا، 20 تا 22 آپریل. برای ثبت نام با تخفیف ویژه پاییزی با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید.